Okay, so let's talk about the little Empress. I was thinking outside of the box a bit when I found this card, and I really just loved this painting. And then I really wanted to portray the Empress differently than anything I've ever seen before. Usually the Empress is grown or she's, with child. And I just wanted something kind of different for the Empress and the Emperor, which I'll get to, because I'm going to do the Empress and the Emperor cards together in one video. But first we're going to talk about this little Empress. So the Empress astrologically is Venus, and kind of from my studies, sort of the shadowy side of Venus can be a bit spoiled, maybe. Venus can be very particular and sort of maybe materialistic a bit, but also very beautiful and luxurious. So my kind of idea with going with a child for the Empress is basically that the Empress also represents comfort, creativity, self-care, and I feel like what better way to portray those types of energies than having it be a little child, because children, they sort of depend on other people to care for them. So it's the idea that if we can't take care of ourselves, we can't really take care of others. And basically a child requires care in order to survive. Instead of worrying about everyone else's comfort and feelings, she is more focused on her own. That doesn't mean that she doesn't care. Doesn't mean she doesn't care, but you have to take care of yourself first. And you can't nurture anyone else until you're, sufficiently balanced, I guess. This little Empress, her passions are playing, napping, chocolate, and sugar. That is what she is focused on, okay? All of those good things. I also think that this little Empress, I'm reading my notes, by the way, because I wrote notes. She can also represent the inner child, the Empress that lives inside all of us, and she just wants to be cared for or taken care of, instead of the one always obligated to give the care. The Empress rules all of the other queens in the tarot. So in this deck, it's clear that because all the other queens in the deck are grown women, the queens, would actually take care of this Empress. So I just thought that was really an interesting perspective, a kind of a different way to, view a card that a lot of us really hold dear and really love. And I just wanted to kind of portray it in a different way, in that, they say life or art imitates life, in that as adults, as parents, usually, I'm not a parent, but I've heard from my parent friends that everything that they do in their life is hopefully for the benefit of the next generation. So if that's the case, then kids essentially rule the world, and they are sort of the reason why we do things. So that's why my Empress and my Emperor in this deck are actually portrayed as little kids. So really quick, I want to also show the original of this painting. I actually forgot kind of what this original painting looked like until I was doing this video, and it's really interesting. When you see the original, you can actually kind of get more of a sense of what I was thinking when I saw this painting. So here we see the original painting in that she actually is kind of a little empress. Like she has all of these grown men sort of catering to her. And I just was like, oh my God, this is my Empress card, like for sure. But what I had forgotten is that I had to edit out this old guy down here and his hand. So I had to take him out of the card. See, he's not here anymore. Bye-bye. Bye, old man. So I had to edit him out, you know, because it would just look weird to have some guy's head here at the bottom. So anyways, so this is kind of the, this is kind of the inspiration behind my, you know, thinking outside of the box a little bit for the Empress. And I just love how she just looks really irritated. You know, I'm gonna go back. She's just really irritated with all of these people, I guess, or, you know, maybe they're just not paying enough attention to her. I don't know, but I just think she's so cute and I just love her. So then that brings me to our little Emperor. So here's our little Emperor. And for me, these cards, you know, they usually go together. I usually read, you know, the Empress and the Emperor are always kind of a pair in tarot. Even if they don't come up together in a reading, they always kind of go together as a couple, I guess. So if I were to do the little Empress, it would be sort of creepy for me to do a grown man Emperor because that would just be weird. So when I found this painting, this one of the little Emperor, I said, oh my God, this is it. This is perfect. He's my little Emperor and he goes with her perfectly. So again, so we have sort of the thinking outside of the box for the Emperor, where we kind of get the sense that he maybe was not, I mean, his feet don't even touch the ground on his throne. So it's kind of that idea of, historically, there are times where maybe in the, you know, the next generation would become sort of the emperor at a very young age, right? If the father passed away and, you know, this kid is next in line, even if he's like 8 years old, he then becomes the emperor. So it's almost like he's hesitant to take on this role of leadership. However, it was bestowed on him, whether he wanted it or not. So now he has to kind of rule the kingdom, right? And he has to establish rules and he has to create guidelines and systems and he has to form boundaries and he has to, you know, lead his soldiers and he has all of this sort of responsibility now, even as a young kid. And then it kind of got me thinking, okay, well, if this little kid was in charge as the emperor, I mean, he would probably say that it's playtime all the time and, you know, he wants to eat ice cream at 8 o'clock at night and, you know, just kind of all of this, you know, whatever rules kids would make up is kind of what is going through my head. And it's just kind of interesting to think of, like, you know, when we were little, what kind of rules would we have made, right? What would we have come up with? If we were in charge of the parents or if we were in charge of the adults, like, shit would have been done different, right? However, with age comes experience. So the reason that our parents, you know, probably did things the way that they did is because they have that life experience, where here, this little empress and this emperor, they might not have that yet. However, kids are the most imaginative, creative beings on the planet, and they don't have any sort of, you know, they don't have any sort of bad will or ill intention yet because they're just so pure. So that was kind of my, you know, kind of a little bit of my thought process behind the little empress and the little emperor in the Pensive Path. Just a different perspective maybe on these two cards. And I just really thought it was interesting and I wanted to kind of think outside the box a little bit and, you know, maybe something to journal about or just consider you know, if they come up in a reading, a different way to interpret these cards. And I just really, you know, I just really love the paintings, and I just really think that these kids are really cute, and I really wanted them in my deck. So here they are. And I'll see you for the next card.